So what is an algorithm? It is a formula for a particular set of steps, or it's a set of steps for solving a particular problem. Now, when we do algorithms, we actually do it in our heads every single day. We do, and I'll give you an example about what we do a bit later on. But where the algorithms come into play with social media, with Facebook in particular, is that it's a formula that Facebook uses to help people, to help decide what people see in their news feeds. So, you know, we sit there quite often and we've got our phone, because I think there's about 90% or 95% of people actually access Facebook on their phone. And I remember reading once that I think it was even as high as 40 or 45% of people have never actually accessed Facebook on their on a desktop or a laptop. So people will access it on their phone through the app, and I think that's because like mobile phones have become more prevalent, and people who were previously denied access to this technology now have this little computer at their disposal. That's a reasonably affordable way to connect with the world. So most people access it on their mobile device. So you see people on the buses, walking down the street, you know, home at night when you're supposed to be talking to your partner, scrolling through the newsfeed. What that does is you have the capacity to have up to 5,000 friends on your Facebook profile. For those of you who are in the code breakers, you'll know that it is actually, I call it the back veranda. I've got a concept called the House of Facebook, where I actually outline what is, and I've done that here before on social media. Hang on, I've done that on Friday Facebook Fix. I've shared the concept of the House of Facebook with you probably about 6 months ago. Gordana's saying hello, I'm here. So Gordana, I can't see you in the room though. And she's saying, have I started? Yes, Gordana, I have started, but I can't see you actually in the broadcast. Joe is here too. Hey Joe, good to see you. Joe wants to translate Tonto from Spanish to English. Yeah, get on Google, let us know what it is. And Joe don't actually, so I'm not quite sure what you actually don't do, but you can let me know and we'll get back to that when as part of. Oh, what? Linda's here from Bali. Wow. Have a wonderful, wonderful time, Linda. Linda is, can I tell people, you're my perfect client, my target profile. We can talk about that too. And Gordana's saying it wasn't working. Gordana, what you might be finding is that because it said that they had an unusually high level of traffic on their BeLive TV platform, and I had to try a couple of times to get in. Sarah's here from Kentucky. Wow, we're really global, aren't we? Welcome, Sarah. It's awesome to see you. Fantastic, good stuff. Okay, so Joe's saying don't actually translate Tonto as it translates to fool. Well, then we can put our own interpretation of fool, I guess. But I think the meaning of what April was saying in the net friending movement is you don't be a lone wolf, be the Lone Ranger, because even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. And even if Tonto was a fool, he still had somebody that was better than just one, like the two brains. Two heads are better than one. So that was the gist of that conversation earlier. So back to Facebook, you can have, back to the algorithms, you can have up to 5,000 friends in your friends list. You can join up to 6,000 groups, although I don't know why you would. You can like and follow up to 5,000 pages. Now, assuming that the posts from all of the sources, like all of those different sources have been, people are posting, and like, because not all your 5,000 friends are going to post simultaneously, but there are people who are you know, who are posting regularly. So out of those 5,000 friends, you've got a great majority that would be posting. I've got, hey bro, how you going? He's sitting here watching the sun through the gum trees in Belair. You're in town. We'll have to catch up. What? You just had a birthday too. Happy birthday, bro. I think it was last week, week before. Anyhow, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. But any given time, Facebook could show you, when you're scrolling through the newsfeed, up to 15,000 posts. And what it does is it uses the algorithms to narrow down to about 1,500. It uses the algorithm, narrows it down to about 1,500 posts that it thinks that you want to see. And I'll talk a little bit more about interests and that type of thing in a moment. But once it's got it down to about 1,500, then it will go down even further. So we'll narrow it down even further to around 300 posts. So it is, out of that 300 posts, it will decide which of those posts that it will show you. And that's based on a relevancy score, which we'll also go through. And I'm going to have to talk fast because I have been, as usual, I've been sort of getting a little bit off track, staying on track, I'm not quite sure. But the algorithms actually came out in 2008, and there are around about 100,000 different weights or different aspects to the algorithm. And this, we only know about half a dozen of them. So the key thing to remember is posts that attract likes, that attract comments, that attract shares usually show more, because what happens is the activity on the posts show that there is a relevancy to people. So it's like Kim Gast says, it's like a self-licking ice cream. So the more people engage with your post, the more Facebook, well, the algorithm goes, oh, people like this post, and then they will show it to more people. So it's just that, and in reverse, the less people engage, the less Facebook will show. So there's some other aspects of that as well that Facebook, and I will talk about that in a moment. And like I was just looking at the time, I've got to talk really, really fast, but that usually happens on Friday Facebook feeds. The 4 steps that Facebook goes through, it's a 4-step process that they go through, Facebook goes through to decide what gets shown. This 4-step process is, the first thing is they do inventory, then they look for signals, then they do some predictions, and then they look at the relevancy. So that's 4 steps that Facebook goes through. And Gordana has just sent me a message. Oh, it's all right. She's just sent me a hug. That's okay. Hug on Messenger. Thank you. Hugs back to you, Gordana. The 4-step process is the first thing, and I'm going to relate it because we do this every day. I'm going to relate this to, say I'm going to buy a shirt for my husband. Not that I do buy his shirts, he usually buys his own, but if I was going to buy a shirt for my husband, what I would do is the first thing I would think of would be the inventory. So I would think about all the different possible styles and colors and shapes and of shirts, makes, materials, all of that, all of those different styles that were available to me. The second thing I would do is I would send out, like I would think about signals. So the signals would be, I would go, okay, well, what shirts does he already have? What color does he like to wear? What are the signals that I'm getting from, is it summer or winter? What sort of things what's a shirt for? Is it formal? Is it casual? Is it, that sort of, that type of thing. And then I think about where the shirts might be available. So this is the step 3. This is sort of like the prediction. So I would go, now this was all based on the inventory and the signals. So say he wanted a dress shirt. So we're going to a wedding and he wanted like a formal shirt to wear. And I'm going, all right, so my prediction would be, well, I could look online, I could go to the Maya men's store, but I know that I wouldn't go to Rivers because unless I was looking for maybe a flannelette shirt or something with a bit of padding in it for the winter. So you would think, you make your little predictions about where you think you would go to purchase the shirt. And then once I've got all of that information, I've distilled it all down, then I would, I'd go into the car and I'd go, well, the relevancy between going to Rivers and finding a dress shirt for a formal occasion or going to Myers, the Myers would get a higher relevancy score, so I would go to Myers first to look for the shirt. So this is all done in my head, and it's all done very, very fast, and it's something that that we all do every single day. What Facebook have done is just got this algorithm, and they've made it, applied it to the posts and the content that we put into Facebook. So if we look at it in terms of how Facebook uses it, we look at Facebook looks at what stories have been posted by the friends that you have. It looks at the people that you follow, the publishers that you follow. So you might follow BuzzFeed, or you might follow Huffington Post, or for us, as marketers, Social Media Examiner. That's one that I always set that to see first. There, and Mari Smith, I follow them. Set to see first. So I tell Facebook what I want to see in terms of if you're looking at sort of what is on the menu, and that's like that 1,500 posts, which is they call that the inventory of all the possible things that could be posted that you will possibly see in your newsfeed. And then Facebook looks at who's posted the story and when was it posted, what time was it, what it takes into account things like what phone you're on. I've got some notes here, so I'm just checking them. Even things to what's your bandwidth at the moment. And I'm going, how do they do that? It's like magic. But apparently there's over 100,000 different weights that Facebook uses to determine what actually comes up in your newsfeed. So then they calculate the probability of the likelihood that you're going to like it and comment on it and share it. And so that's that probability. Then they give it a relevancy score, or they'll go, actually another thing is how much time, what's the probability of you, this is the predictions, how long you're going to spend with the story. Would you say if the story was entertaining or informative? They try and predict all of this type of thing. And then what they do is they give it a relevancy score. So they might have an example that comes to mind is, and I have to pick up some extra examples, but an example that comes to mind is you've got two posts. Okay, so say this is topical at the moment because my echo chamber seems to be flooded with people doing direct sales or network marketing for skincare products. Now, this is, if you do that, listen very carefully, because here's a tip. Here's a big tip. You've got two posts. So you've got two people in wonderful network marketing companies. All their products are fantastic. The first post you've got is a picture of products. Now you're going, it's nearly Christmas time. I can cash in on this because everybody wants skincare or whatever it is for their next Christmas gifts, or it really is a fantastic opportunity. And I love network marketing. I love the model. I think it is amazing to help women and men to take control of their own economy. That's a whole different conversation. I just want to make a point about, you've got a beautiful gift basket of products tied up in a basket with cellophane, a beautiful bow, and you've got a product thing saying, buy this for Christmas for your mum or your sister or your grandma or whoever. It looks gorgeous. It's really, your intent is wanting to help. And then you've got someone in the same company and they've done a video and maybe a live video. And what they've done is a live video on how to do the skincare regime. And by the way, these are the products we're using. So your first thought is, when you see a product come up in the news feed, and Facebook will rate them, the relevancy score, they will rate those lower, because they'll go products, sales, not on my watch. And in fact, they won't show overly promotional salesy posts anymore. And I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago that they decided that was something that the algorithms were getting more tweaks, which means that we have to get creative about how we do our stuff and lives. Because if you can get someone engaged in a live video, or even a pre-recorded video that is natively uploaded to Facebook, and you can get them engaged and they can stay on that video for, sort of 30 seconds or longer, and you're giving them some information that's going to help them, Facebook is going to reward you for going to that extra trouble, and they will show people. And then if it's interesting, engaging, entertaining, friends will share with friends, because they go, this stuff's good, you've got to check it out, So so those two posts, which are about exactly the same thing, about getting your products into people's homes for Christmas, as under the Christmas tree, one product is going to get a relevancy score of very, very low. The other product is going to get a relevancy score that's much, much higher. So think about this when you're doing your content, because it is critical. It's absolutely critical. Really important. Spend the time thinking about it. Put some effort into it, and you will be rewarded. It's absolutely worth it, believe me. So where are we now? There was just one other thing I wanted to share with you. Two other things I wanted to share with you was the stuff Facebook doesn't like. Now, I've already said that around the salesy promotional posts that are overly salesy and promotional. It doesn't like clickbait either. So those posts where it goes, this person did one thing, or you'd be amazed when you discover how this stay-at-home mum made $100,000 a month, or those sort of things. Facebook they'll bin them straight away. It doesn't like those sort of things, especially if they've got a link and you click it and it goes to somewhere else, which is like your landing page to your network marketing opportunity. Don't do that, because Facebook just won't show it. It's wasting your time. It's wasting your resources. Like baiting is another one that Facebook is really just doesn't like. Doesn't like baiting. Like this page 4, or if you say click the like button if you like, it might be a picture of Bali or something. There's ways you can do it, and I won't go into it here because we're already over time, but there's ways you can do it. Get a bit creative, but clickbaiting, like baiting is out. Keep your headlines authentic. Make sure that there are no misleading headlines, and that was about, I alluded to that before in the clickbaiting. Make sure that your headlines are authentic, and you are who you say you are. You show up. You are just you. And Gordana's saying, fantastic tip. Yeah, I'm sorry you couldn't join us today, Gordana. That's, yeah. But all right, so thank you. Yeah, there's lots and lots of stuff. The other thing that Facebook, what you can do is you can create content. Focus on creating content that's more likely to get a positive response from users. Now, I said this before about the 2 posts with the same products, how you go about doing it. Looking to minimize negative feedback from fans. Now, this is really interesting because I've pondered, and if any of you have had opportunity or examples of, if you're in it for a cause, so say you've got a cause that is around, and I was talking about this morning to one of my friends when we were walking, doing our Torture Hill challenge. If you're looking to, if you say you are passionate about stopping the dog fights, so I was saying that I would see pictures of mauled dogs because people would do these horrible things to them, and I didn't want to see it on my newsfeed, so I would hide the posts. But that's the sort of thing, like if people are passionate about it and they've started a cause and they're posting this sort of stuff all the time, you will find that people would put angry faces or sad faces on there. So there's got to be a way, because that sends signals back to Facebook that you actually have negative feedback, and they won't show those posts, because Facebook is there purely to give the users a good experience. And if they're getting feedback that that experience isn't good, and I think in that context it could be a little bit misleading, because you're empathizing, or if you're angry about something that's happening, not about the post, you're actually agreeing with the post but you're angry about the cause, then it could be a little bit misleading. So think about that. Look to minimize negative feedback. You will always get some negative feedback if you're out there and you're doing stuff. That is totally fine, but by and large, if you're getting lots of negative feedback, Facebook won't show you stuff. Publishing and promoting content that encourages engagement and investment of your viewers' time. So keeping people on your post, engage with your content. The longer, that's one of the relevancy scores, is the longer people are with you and engage with with your stuff, the more Facebook goes, oh, well, they like what this person's doing, and I'll keep showing. And make sure, this is so important, gone over time, but this is so important. Make sure your content matches what your target profile wants. I'll say that again. Make sure your content matches what your target profile wants. I'm going to leave you with that, because that is, if you haven't got that right, nothing else is going to fly.